Okay, very well. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I guess it's just now afternoon. My name is Ramin Hashemi, and I will be moderating today's webinar, where Gio Cantarella, my partner in crime, is going to be presenting delivering world-class customer experience. A couple of things. I know you've all probably joined lots and lots of Zooms in the last 2.5 years, but this is a webinar. We would like to hear from you, and you would do that in two ways. One would be in the Q&A box. The Q&A box is different than the chat box. It allows us to manage the flow of your questions and make sure we address them. In a chat box, you can't do that, so we would like to use Q&A. And the other way you can participate is raise your hand. There's a raise hand button in Zoom, and then I will open up your microphone and you can speak live. If you do raise hand and when we open your microphone, make sure you unmute so we can hear you. So those are two ways that you can participate. Gio has put in two places in the presentation where you're going to be, where we're going to have group discussion. We want to hear from you. So as we're going through, please think through what you want to offer. We'd like to hear your personal experiences and your feedback. So without further ado, Gio, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ramin, and good afternoon. It is afternoon, 1 minute afternoon, to all the ladies and gentlemen who are on this call. We really appreciate your attendance, and we'll try and do the best we can to deliver world-class, that's a big if, world-class customer experience. So let's start right away with the basics and take a look at what SCORE is all about. We're a nationwide nonprofit organization. It's independent, but it does work with the Small Business Administration, and it provides America's small businesses. You may or may not know that almost 50% of businesses in America are small businesses. Almost 4 million and change proprietor owned and operated. So small businesses are a must in the growth after the pandemic. We have in Minnesota nearly 90 volunteers. Ramin and I have volunteered in between hip and knee replacements over the past few years. And our chapter recently was recognized as Chapter of the Year in our district. So we're very proud of that achievement. Since our value propositions are research and planning, opening up the startup phase, growth in business, and selling or exiting strategies for those who want to successfully navigate the business process. Our team of volunteers and mentors motivate and guide all of those who come to us through that business process. The best thing is that this is a free item. Nobody pays for this. And as SCORE, we try and do the best we can, or try and help our businesses find the answers to their questions. Here's how you go about getting a mentor. After our presentation, we would ask you to request a mentor, locate a podcast, find a workshop or a webinar event. We're still doing webinars, and hopefully one of these days, we're going to get back to in-person activities. And there are many, many more resources in our library. We have webinars on almost every topic that you can think about. So it's really important, if you want some free advice, to visit minnesota.score.org, and you'll be able to pick up a mentor. Okay, Ramin, these are the thanks that we have to give to our sponsors. All of these community partners help SCORE support small businesses in this area. So we always ask you to do some business with our sponsors. And it's really important because they keep us going. The first one at the top, the Small Business Administration, right down to the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, all important supporters of SCORE. Now, we're going to talk about surviving and thriving in 2022. World-class customer experience. What does that really mean? Let's get to the basics. This is me. What did I do in my career? I worked in the overseas division of a very small company called General Motors. You may have heard of them. But I worked mostly in the European and Middle East and Africa area, selling Opels and Vauxhalls. Interesting that during the Second World War, Opel made Panzer tanks for the Axis powers, and Vauxhall made Churchill tanks for the Allies. So both of those companies had some presence years ago. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what some of you may or may not have seen. It's called the Business Model Canvas. And it shows, as you can see here, various elements of the business model. This is usually where the SCORE mentor works with a small business to develop their business plan. And as you can see where it's ringed, customer relationship fits in right at the top and one of the main areas that you have to address when you start a small business. Let's come to terms with the terminology and where it fits in the business plan. The customer service situations is where any customer is looking for support from you as a small business operator. The customer experience is the sum of every interaction that a customer has with you. And I emphasize the you because you're the mainstay of the business. Every touch point or interaction with the business, from first learning about the company to making a purchase, using the product or service, and every one of those items contributes to the customer experience. There are studies which will show you that those customer experiences, those touch points, are more important than the product and even the price of the product that you're selling in purchasing experiences. 72% of businesses in a recent survey say improving that customer experience has got to be the top priority of a business. It also becomes a key differentiator for businesses of all sizes. Consistently good customer service gives your business the foundation on which to build, grow, and survive in and thrive in 2022 and beyond. So that's where it fits into your business plan. But you've got to get it right out of the gate. You've got to do the right things. You've got to develop a persona or avatar for your customers. Identify their characteristics, review all the data available to you, and then develop a description of your ideal customer as if he or she is a real person. One example of a bicycle retailer, their customer, Mike, a 55-year-old professional with a household income of over $150,000, married, adult children, and lives in the suburbs. Fitness is a priority for him. He spends maybe $5,000 a year on high-end bicycles and the accessories of those bicycles. So as a bicycle retailer, you know that he wants good products with the functionality that will help him achieve his lifestyle. You've got to identify the interests with your customers. Understand what's driving their behavior. Determine what experience you have to create for those customers. Vitally important is that you hire good people and you keep those people happy. It's also beneficial if you have one person dedicated to customer service. Just this weekend, I was trying to get some tickets to go from Sarasota to London, England to visit family. And I ran across a Delta person on the phone line. And I had one question that Delta asked me after our interaction. Would I hire that person? That's why it's so vital that you hire good people. My answer was a resounding yes, because that person was excellent and helped me through all of the trauma of booking tickets, which I'm sure in a high travel environment these days, all of you who travel have had that experience. And it's really great when you get a good person on the end of the phone to help you through that experience. When you're doing all this, you've got to maintain a high level of productivity. Use that personal touch. Make customers feel heard, respected, and cared for. Engage in social media. If you're not in social media, you better get your skates on. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Hootsuite, Social Pilot, Buffer, LinkedIn. I can go on and on. Google now is probably the most looked at to find businesses and find services these days. Know your own product or service. What are you doing for your customers? Take advantage of all those customer touch points that we spoke about before. Circle back to increase their loyalty. Customers expect a high level of responsiveness these days. So you've got to babysit your customers to a certain extent. Don't just do it one and done, have them and forget them. You should also understand the experience that you're giving to your customers. Audit the customer journey. Remove any friction. Make it easy to do business with you. And overall, anticipate your customers' needs and be consistent with what you give them. Now, let's get closer to your customer. How do you do that? The main thing is to partner with your customers so that you increase sales, and that's what it's all about in business. A personal touch goes a long way. As the business owner, you can develop personal relationships with the customers in such a better way, an easier way than larger corporations can never hope to match. You're giving a one-on-one service to your customer. That's important. Get them involved in your business. Have you set up a brainstorming session on Zoom with your customers? Win them over one at a time. Adapt to fit their needs. And ask your loyal customers to post reviews of you and your business on social media. Highlight your top clients. Speak to your clients in every method that you can. It's important. You should encourage reviews and testimonials. Cultivate the community, particularly locally. Loyal customers support your business through thick and thin. And reward local customers. Go beyond coupons and discounts. You don't want to undersell your service with discounts all the time. Go beyond those discounts and coupons. Let me show you an example of the person who redid the screen on my Lanai just recently. After our business and he came here to do the Lanai, he sent me a thank you note. It's an A4 piece of paper folded over, and inside the thank you note was a personal message with their business card. When another ball came through my Lanai screen, I had to call him again. Would you not know it? I got a second note, a different one, similar from him. Cost him very little, but I remember that screen repairer in exactly what they did. As your business grows, create an online resource center for your customers. And every day, try and figure out how you can enhance the customer experience. Find more out of that avatar, that ideal customer that you have looked for. Now, let's pause a moment and see if there are any questions on the screen or on the chat. We've got, looks like, how many here? 30, 39? I'll have to put my glasses on.
37 plus us. Yeah, everybody, we would like to hear from you. If you have any questions, type them up in the Q&A or raise your hand and I can open up your microphone.
I hope everything was clear in what I said. As you heard from Ramin at the beginning, this is going to be recorded so you can look at it again and take out the bullet points that you may need. Any questions from anyone?
Gio, I don't see any. I know you have another section coming up, or you're going to pause and ask. So we'll do that again in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, let me continue while people are thinking. Don't be bashful. This is supposed to be interactive, so we want to hear from you. So let's try and take it to the next level. You have to be introspective in your business. How well are you doing in your customer service? You've got to look at yourself critically on a regular basis. There are two useful customer satisfaction metrics that can help you individually measure your customer service performance. These are the two: customer satisfaction, CSAT, customer satisfaction, and NPS, Net Promoter Score. The one on the left of your screen measures how satisfied a customer is with the specific area of your business. The other one on the right measures the overall customer loyalty towards your brand and towards your business. Are they going to stay with you or not? Let's go through each one of these now. The customer satisfaction score. It measures the satisfaction with your product or service and is generally transaction-based. Here's an example right here on screen. A pool cleaning business might email a survey to a customer after that pool cleaner visits to measure satisfaction. The surveys that you do with your customers should be short and focused. 10 questions, good maximum. Use a ranking of 1 to 10. Yes, no, don't apply. Give them choices. Include an open-ended question. Do you have any other comments? Is there anything else you would like to tell us? And ask customers if you may contact them to discuss the survey results. This way you can get more details from customers who say, well, I wasn't really that happy with the performance, and resolve the issues. When I worked at General Motors, and this was in Italy, as a matter of fact, with the Opel dealers, we used to do regular customer satisfaction indices with the dealers. And I had the team then relate dealer profitability from their business management statistics with their overall customer satisfaction indice. And it was quite clear when I related the two that the highest profitability dealers were those who had the highest customer satisfaction indices. It was a no-brainer. It really works that way. If you get good results, people are going to come back and spend money with you. That's all about customer satisfaction. Now let's take a look at the next one. The Net Promoter Score, a little more difficult to calculate than the 10 questions that we have. Here, customers are surveyed on one single question. Just like the Delta operator, I was asked from 1 to 5, and here it's 1 to 10. Would you do business with this woman? Would you hire her for your business? So on a scale of 0 to 10, the 11 questions, how likely are you to recommend this company's product or service to a friend or a colleague? Based on those ratings in 3 categories, you have at a score of like 1 to 6, you have those which we call detractors. A score of 7 or 8 are those who are in between. They're the passive ones. And the promoters are 9 and 10. Those are one that say, yay, verily, I would do business with this company. And you can see it on the top. The 0 to 6 are the reds, detractors, 7 and 8, right in the middle, passives, and 9 and 10 promoters. How do you determine net promoter score? Now, here's where you have to do the calculation. It's determined by subtracting the percentage of customers who are detracted from the percentage who are promoters. What's generated is a score between minus 100 and 100, and that's called the net promoter score. At one end of the spectrum, when you survey all of the customers gave you lower or equal to 6, then you'd be minus 100. At the other end of the spectrum, if all the customers were answering the question with a 9 or 10, then the net promoter score would be 100. Let's not make no bones about it. We're all looking for the 100 calculation and not the 0 to 6 calculation. Another way to look at your business is to determine the customer lifetime value. This is a little more complicated in doing the arithmetic. Your customer lifetime value is the combination of your average revenue from your customer. We call it ARPC, average revenue per customer, times the average customer lifespan. How long has that average customer been with you? So you take the average revenue, you multiply it by the average customer lifespan, but you also have to take away and minus your costs of acquiring those customers. When you do that calculation, you come to customer lifetime value. And what does it tell you? You can see here. It gives you a portrait of your non-profitable customers, the profitable customers, and the very profitable customers. And that's what you have to make sure that you get those customers into that 80% area, the 60 plus area for your business. Because if you have 20% non-profitable customers all the time, your business is going to have a very short run, unfortunately. And none of us want to see that. So what do you have to do to tap into that really profitable area? You've got to tap into technology. And that's what it's all about these days. The technology. Use a help desk app. Freshwater, Help Scout, Zendesk. These are all tracking customer inquiries. Develop the surveys. We talked about the surveys before in customer satisfaction. You can use PollDaddy, you can use SurveyMonkey, you can develop your own survey, the piece of paper that I showed you before, and send it out to your customer. When I did offsites for a legal group, at the end of our offsite, we would always put the smiley faces and how the presenter did, whether they were attentive or not. And this helps you review and upgrade everything you do, particularly your website. When was the last time you looked at your website? Do you all have a website? Is your website SEO enabled? That's getting more hits on your website. These are all important things to do. In the last event, you can even start a blog. But all of these tools in technology are what helps you do the business these days. SEO is search engine optimization for your website. It is vitally important that when you do your website, you're doing it properly so you get more hits. So the 41 people on this call, ask yourself the questions, look into the mirror. Have you tapped into technology? Do you have surveys that you've done regularly? Have you reviewed and upgraded your website for search engine optimization? Have you started a blog, or do you keep regular contact with your customers? These are all the elements that we in SCORE would suggest for small businesses to get into that world-class customer service. Is it easy? No. But if you don't do all of those elements, you're not really treating your customers the way they should be treated, and you're going to lose them. We want you to keep your customers, to do all the basics. You'll find it very easy once you start, and maintain your customers and give them world-class service. Ramin, I've come to the end of my little spiel, and I would hope that it was beneficial to those who are on the call and possibly generate some questions. And if you don't have a question right now, you could always contact us through the SCORE website that we started right at the beginning, and reemphasize that so that you can take a look and get a SCORE mentor or get help from SCORE in your individual businesses. Ramin, over to you.
Yeah, so Gio, a couple of things. First of all, I failed to mention that we are going to send a copy of your presentation to everyone afterwards, along with a survey. So if you would be kind enough to do the survey, we appreciate it, and you can use the material here. The recording will also be posted on the website, so you can take advantage and listen to Gio's conversation and presentation again. In terms of questions.
And you can also, if I might, Ramin, they can also tell me how I could improve next time and enunciate my Italian-American English better.
We're gonna work on saying optimization.
Yes.
That's okay. Hey, Greg had a question earlier. I think we missed it, and that's about, would you hire a social media company? Do you recommend doing that? What are your thoughts, Gio?
My first thought is if you're not super literate in technology, you're better off hiring somebody who can do it for you. Social media is very intricate. You've got websites, e-commerce, search engine optimization. You've got email, online advertising, customer relationship experiences. There are a plethora of items that you'd have to look at. Getting your website done properly right in the beginning and understanding the social media usages and the return on the investment in social media is valuable. We have many SCORE mentors who will be happy to work with you, again, for free, and point you in the right direction, not for their business, but for other social media people that could help individual social medias. You don't have to spend much to get a good website, but you have to do it properly so that the website works for you. Ramin, what do you think? Any comments on that?
The only comment I have about social media, it's really important to be consistent. So a lot of businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs that are busy, do a good job setting it up. They're active at the beginning, posting new clients, success stories, things that you want to tout. You want to get your best clients, as Gio said, to become your advocates. And you want to get testimonials and put them up on social media. But it's important to keep doing that. Post once a week, post every other week, or if you can afford to more often. So if you do it yourself, it's really important to align what is your strategy, what's your messaging, and then ensure that you deliver it on a consistent basis to your audience.
And that was actually in one of the first slides where we said be consistent, and possibly if you're hiring employees to have one individual responsible for that social media to keep doing it all the time, because you as a business owner, as Ramin said, may not have all the time to do it yourself. Consistent, consistent, consistent. So over time, you're giving the same message to all your customers.
Exactly. And we have a question about, do you recommend any CRM software, Gio?
There are a number of them that I can mention. All of them are a little different. You've got MS Dynamics, you got Salesforce, you got HubSpot, you got Zoho, you got Agile CRM. All of these are different CRM programs that one might use. And that's why, do I know everything about all of these? No. That's why I would ask a social media expert to say, is there a CRM program, customer relationship management program, CRM, that would benefit my business and my style of business? You can Google a number of them online. I just mentioned a few of them that might be interesting. Let me hitchhike on that also. On customer experience, we did say before, Polldaddy or ServiceMonkey are very good in making up surveys. Facebook Insights and Zendesk also help on customer service platforms. These are all different ones that may be of use. Would I recommend any of them? Depends on your business. It depends on how you're doing with your own social media work. Ramin, any other thoughts?
Let me get Nabil wanted to make a comment. So Nabil, I opened your microphone.
Thank you, Ramin. Thanks, Gio. Excellent presentation. Just want to mention HubSpot CRM is free. You could get started with their freemium model, and it gives you quite a bit of advantages when you get started with a lot of features that are available to you. I've used many other CRMs. They're all good. They're not very expensive, but HubSpot tends to be a good option because it's free. Also, I want to mention regarding the surveys that Gio talked about, I used to use SurveyMonkey, and they also offered a freemium model where you could start collecting results. And I don't know if any of our audience was at the presentation last week. Jack Morris talked about unique selling proposition. When I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, I ask them, what is your unique selling proposition? Quite often I hear, we offer excellent quality product or excellent customer support, but they don't usually quantify what excellent is. Having these surveys in place and measuring and tracking these numbers, NPS or other numbers, that gives you the ability to quantify how good your customer support, customer service is. So it can actually indeed become a unique selling proposition in your business.
It's vitally important what Nabil just said. USP, unique selling proposition, unique. What is your unique one? Not just the overall generalities. And just to be clear, HubSpot, HUBSPOT, is the free one that Nabil mentioned just now. Any of the mentors would have a long list of all of these items. So when you ask for a mentor from SCORE, you'll be able to delve deeply into all of these.
Okay, thank you, Nabil. I appreciate your chiming in. So Gio, we had a couple of questions in the Q&A box from Jacqueline. I don't know if you saw them. They're regarding Facebook. So is Facebook good to have to communicate with customers as a first-time new business owner? And then the second question is, how do you go by having a business account on Facebook?
Good questions. There are ways to get into Facebook. I have to declare that my son happens to be a Facebook employee. He's a vice president of community outreach. So when I ask him, how do I do it, John? He says, Dad, I don't know. That's another team. But you will find that if your customers are on Facebook, you should be on Facebook yourself. You've got to be very careful. You can go into the Facebook sites and ask for that approach. I haven't done it myself, Nabil, have you done it, or Ramin, have you done it
So
to
in
set
terms
up an
of
account?
opening a business account, it's pretty easy on Facebook. I've done it for the condo board I'm on. So it's very easy to set it up and easy to manage. I think the key is, it really is not the mechanics of it, is really who are your customers and
Exactly.
where are they? So if you're targeting, I don't know, I'll just use an example. If you're targeting 15-year-olds, they're not going to be on Facebook. If you're targeting 50-year-olds, they're likely on Facebook. So you really have to figure out who your audience is. So rather than jumping to all the media, hone in on where they are, what's your unique selling proposition, and then develop that communication strategy.
It's a perfect reality of building that avatar of your customer. Who is your customer from the beginning? We talked about Mike, the bicycle customer. He's a big player with a lot of lifestyle work that he wants. He's probably on Facebook. He's certainly not on TikTok, and he's not on Instagram, and he's not on Snapchat. And in fact, TikTok is almost passé. I read an article the other day that there is a new program that's coming out, which is almost like Wordle. It's posting one video a day, no more than one, and it disappears after that day. So this is a new program that the kids are into. Can you do Facebook easily? Yes.
Yeah.
Would we recommend it? Depends on who your customers are, as Ramin said.
Very well. Let's see, anyone else want to share their personal experience with customers with the group? You can raise your hand and I'll open your microphone. Okay, 1 second. Let me open up your microphone, Jacqueline. Okay.
Thank you for volunteering, Jacqueline.
Yes, you're brave. Go ahead and unmute, please. There you are.
Thank you so much for having me. My question is for my customers. I don't want to limit my customers. I am trying to start a non-medical transportation where I can help the elderly, the mental health, the disabled to get back and forth to their appointments, to wherever they need to travel to and from. I had a Facebook page a long time ago, just a regular Facebook page, but I closed it like 2 years ago. I'm sorry, let me just turn my phone off.
I heard you were on our webinar.
Maybe it's a customer.
Always. No. It's probably a family member. You know, they always call you when you're doing something.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So I've been told that maybe I should do a Facebook business thing, but I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Like I said, my customers, I'm not trying to limit it to certain customers. Hopefully I can address all customers who needs that transportation.
Jacqueline, your business is very focused in a certain customer segment that
Okay.
needs the service and that needs the help. And what I would suggest to you is to develop that business with one of the SCORE mentors who would be very happy to sit with you on Zoom or hopefully someday in person to develop that business model canvas that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That's really important because you've got to know exactly where you're going. The business model canvas was on the first or second slide that we showed.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you all the opportunity to really take a hard look at your business.
Okay.
And that's important. Your customers are probably not the social media types.
Okay.
You may benefit from those customers who need that service,
Yes,
as we all get older,
yes.
in terms of a different way to market to those customers. And that's
Okay.
why you look at the business model canvas, helps you develop, right? Can you go back to that chart, Nabil?
Mhm.
Right in the channels of the business model canvas, you'll see that it says the channels in there. You see
Okay.
that right underneath customer relationships is channels.
Yeah, I took a picture of it. I have it on my phone.
Well, you'll have it as you can link into the video recording.
Okay,
And each of these are channels of communication and sales that are the interface between you and your customers.
okay.
And those are going to act as the touch points that you need with your customers. I would suggest that you ask for a mentor.
Oh, I
And-
have one
All right.
from
Then-
SCORE. Mhm.
Then discuss with that mentor how those channels will benefit your particular area.
Okay,
And for some of the younger ones, it may be Facebook. It may be some other social media.
Yeah, I agree, Gio. I mean, once you define your market, then you determine how to access that market. So, a lot of your clientele may want to use the telephone. They might still like mailers. They might like paper. And
Yeah.
they, for transportation, a lot of them have a business card they put on the refrigerator with your phone
Yes.
number.
Yes.
That's the old Facebook. So it's important to spend time honing in on who the channels are, who the clients are, and then opening a Facebook account for business, Jacqueline, is extremely easy. You
Okay.
can Google it. It will take you some time to add all the content. You really should do a thorough job of adding phone numbers, photos, customer testimonials. That way it's complete. And when someone pulls it up, it'll be very attractive.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And Jacqueline, once you do that, if you do that,
Mhm.
you've got to be consistent, as Ramin said earlier, and maintain it. Because if you put it, there's nothing worse than an old website or an old Facebook post.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great question. And we have a question from Greg in the chat box. I'm in a beverage startup business. I'm going store to store promoting my product. Would you recommend I leave a survey after I meet with the business owner? Great question. Gio?
I would think absolutely. You've got to know how you're doing. Is that the particular partner that you want? Do you need a distributor instead of a one-to-one? It depends on the scalability of your business. And I think that doing this business model canvas that you see before you will give you some of the answers to how you approach it. But certainly, it's always good to get feedback and to ask, how did I do? Or what else did you want from me as a potential customer?
Exactly. And I see a comment, Hootsuite has nice free tools to help you develop your buyer persona. Excellent feedback. Thank you.
Yep. It's social media is your superpower. Hootsuite is one of the ones that helps you. There is also Awario and Sprout Social, all of them which I haven't used, but I'm aware that they are items that you can use for social media management in terms of your business.
Jacqueline, did you have another question? I saw your hand go up. Would you unmute? And if
Oh,
you
no,
have a
no,
question-
that was before you answer my
Okay.
question. I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, I didn't want to miss you. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for breaking the ice, Jacqueline, and generating some other questions. Much
She is great.
appreciated.
Yes. Okay, so I don't see anyone else's hand up. Let me make sure we don't have any chats or Q&A. Gio, I think we've handled all the questions, or your presentation probably covered 90% of what people wanted to ask. So
If we go back to the first one to give them that website address one more time before we close, I think that's really important so that they visit minnesota.score.org. All of you with your iPhones or Google phones, take your picture of the website. And it's important if you want a mentor, as Ramin is about to put up on the screen now, the last two slides, ask for one. It's free. It can't be better than that.
Yeah, free is good. So definitely, if you need one, please, we are eager to help you out. Hopefully you take some of the nuggets that Gio shared with you today and you put that to use. What it's all about is customer experience. You want to make sure your customers can't do without you. And once you do that, you're going to be successful. Let me see, I have a question. Let me pause here and read the question. Gio, my science says, my business is guided tours, wellness and recreation, hiking, camping, and I assume backpacking. I have both Facebook page and Facebook group. I shared free events on Facebook group. Would you recommend keeping both Facebook page and Facebook group?
I would only ask you, have you evaluated the return on the investment in both of those?
Yeah.
What have you gotten out of using both of those? Are they driving people to your business? Have you gotten business revenue from both of those? If the answer is yes, and you find that cost of acquisition valuable, then yes. If you find one is better than the other, then reevaluate it. If you find both of them don't work, then you better take a look at what you're doing to get to your customers.
Exactly. I mean, the value of a group certainly is that people subscribe to the group of your company and like companies or like interests, and that draws them in. So that's a good thing. But remember that they're subscribing to the entire group. They're not dedicated to you. On the other side, on your Facebook page, once you draw them in, they are your clients, and then you control that messaging. So two different things. I don't know a whole lot about your business, but I would say you have to experiment with both. If, as Gio said, your clientele is on Facebook, and then giving away these free events is part of your strategy. So you got to think about, you're spending money, your time is money, you're giving this away. Is this generating enough revenue for you going forward?
You want to turn those group people into your own clients and make them a valuable ambassador for your business, not only within the group, but outside of the group. So there's where you have to get to. Looks like Lynette has her hand up.
Lynette has her hand, and your mic is open. If you would unmute, Lynette, you can ask your question or make your comment. You are still mute. Oh, there you are.
I had a sort of hard time trying to unmute. Well, I really enjoyed today's workshop. I'm in the process of writing a book, and from listening to you, I decided that before I finish the book, I'm going to do some surveys on the topic that I'm writing about. I hadn't really thought about that before, so I really appreciate that. And also, I had a question for Jacqueline. I had to sell my car, and I want to go to a fitness center. I have a way to get back and forth to the doctor, but is your company going to pick up people that just want to go maybe grocery shopping or the fitness centers? It doesn't have to be back and forth to a doctor, or is your company just a medical company, transportation?
Okay, good. So Jacqueline, if you would type up your answer in the chat box so everyone can see it, that would be good. And feel free to provide your contact information so Lynette can contact you directly.
Thank you.
And that would be good. And we hope that this brings, Jacqueline, another potential service customer to your business.
Yes, exactly.
And
we do often find that in SCORE. That's real rewarding when we have our clients working together or becoming each other's clients. It's excellent. We love to see that.
And that's what ambassadors are all about. to leverage the networking that you do within the community. And those are all the elements that we spoke about earlier.
Exactly. Okay, I don't see any others. Okay, I think we are done with questions. Hopefully Jacqueline gets to type in the chat box, her contact and the answer to Lynette's question. So let me wrap up. So we do want you to go to our website and check things out, ask for a mentor, and hopefully you can put to use what you've learned today. Let us know how we can improve. The survey will go a long way in helping us improve. We want to do more and more of these webinars and meetings when we go face-to-face. So we're eager to hear from you in terms of how we did and what else do you want to hear about. All of our webinars are on our website where they're recorded. So you can go back. We've been delivering themes by month. So this month is really about the customer and increasing sales. We had finance, we had marketing. We had a lot of great topics that you can reference on the website. So let me pause here and thank you for joining us today, giving us an hour of your attention or your busy day. I want to thank Gio. He always does a great job delivering not only the presentation, but also his personal knowledge from the business, which goes a long way. So thank you again. I'm going to leave the webinar open for one more minute in case you want to see Jacqueline's answer. She put in her information, and then I will close it. And we hope to see you in the future. Thank you.
And I want to just say a personal thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance and for getting up and actually speaking and asking questions. I hope we've been able to satisfy some of your needs today. And we do want, as Ramin said, to know how we can do better. I'll try to pronounce optimization even better in the future. And this is always, as we always say, it's continuous improvement and customer satisfaction. And if you give customer satisfaction on a world-class basis, your business will survive and thrive, not only in 2022, but beyond. So thank you for your attendance. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Goodbye, Gio. Thank you.
Ramin, thank you for doing all the hard work.
Thank you.